Hello and welcome to Weebanomics. This is Kyrie Luminous at KyrieLuminous on Twitter.com. And these are my co-hosts with special guests.
Hi, I'm Gusty. You can follow me on Twitter at @A_GustyGal. Hi.
Hey, I am ER. You can follow me at E_R on Twitter.com.
I wish you were ER.
Just like me for real.
Yeah, an unknown clearly didn't mess up the recording. This is clearly our first attempt. Um, so, yeah. Um,
So, Kyrie, what is the show we're watching today?
Today we are talking about My Dress Up Darling, the internet sensation
Oh,
taking the
damn.
world by storm.
What do you think
Attack
about
on
it? Like,
Attack on Titan has got nothing on this shit.
yeah, fuck Attack on
oh, you're
Titan.
gonna get doxxed for that one.
Probably.
So, Kyrie, what did you think of the show before going into it?
I thought it would be generic trash, and it was pretty generic, but it was still cute.
All right. Gusty, what did you think?
Well, going into it, I saw a lot of people praising it on the timeline, and for me, I was recently surprised with Komi-san, which is another romance comedy that I surprisingly enjoyed. I didn't think I was gonna, so I was kind of going in being very cautiously optimistic. It didn't look like it was gonna be something for me, but I was hopeful after being surprised by Komi-san.
Hmm. As for me, I mean, what's it called? I knew I was gonna like the show beforehand, and when I was going into it, like I my perception was warped from Twitter, and I thought this was going to be like the raunchiest show. Maybe like every 2 minutes or 3 minutes, there was going to be like boobs and ass and whatnot, and it was just going to be super lewd. But watching it, there's very little of it. Like, is actually very little. I'm just like, wow, how like these people that are complaining about this, how do they watch anime? How do they get through any fucking anime ever? I'm just thinking like this is probably the most minimal fan service you will ever see in a show that has it, and it's too much
Yeah,
with the exception of like two big scenes.
yeah.
Like
The fan. Oh, sorry, continue.
like that was pretty insane. But yeah, I knew I was going to like this show beforehand because my sister's in it, and she praised the show pretty often. So
Yeah.
she pretty much said the main female lead is just like her. So I was pretty ready to watch this show and love it.
Yeah. For me, with the sexual content, what surprised me was I definitely did see a lot of people posting like lewd scenes from Dress Up Darling. So I was expecting something with, pretty frequent fan service, but the series actually surprised me a lot by you know, not including it too often. There's definitely some episodes with a fair amount of it. Episode 2 comes to mind as one with like a fair bit of it.
And episode 11.
Ov- yeah, in episode 11. But overall, the series kind of avoided fan service in a lot of scenarios. Like, there's definitely some sexual jokes here, like here and there, but overall, like actual like fucking fan service, I thought was pretty like sparing, which was a pleasant surprise. Kyrie, what were your thoughts on the fan service in the series?
I Yeah, there wasn't that much of it to be honest, but where it was really well executed, I'd say. Obviously not like subtle, but well
Yeah,
executed. Like the
yeah,
animation. It was nice. It
yeah,
was fun.
Yeah,
It fit the theme.
Dress Up Darling has surprisingly good animation, and I think the best scene to show that was on episode 12, the freaking star scene, and not star fireworks scene.
Oh,
yeah.
and we were all in the Discord watching it together, and we were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, there's a few people gasping during it. It's definitely really well animated. Um, yeah, definitely probably the highlight of the animation in the series.
Yeah, I mean, like, when it came down to it, I was just taken away. And it was like, I usually only see like this level of animation for something like that from movies, not actual
Yeah,
anime series. So I was just so surprised by that.
yeah, yeah. The animation, I think was generally, pretty consistent, across the board. Like, there's definitely moments of Sakuga, that peeped in, like, with like really good animation, like, episode 12 and the fucking
I think there's
iconic
like
fucking
at least one per episode though.
yeah, 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 no, definitely. I, the one of the ones that sticks in my mind because Kyrie posted the gif so much is the fucking Marin
Boobies.
fucking titty bouncing.
That one made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, yeah,
Um, there were actually also a few weird animation discrepancies. Like there's one scene where it looks like Marin has fucking T-Rex arms.
yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
I had to pause because there's two like really fucking weird scenes that were just so jarring, and yeah, it was when Marin was like almost crying and whatnot, had T Rex arms during then, just pulled me out of it, and then there was the other one that followed the next episode after it was showed Marin's smiling in the cosplay,
yeah.
and she looked like the fucking Joker or something.
Love that. That's hilarious.
I still need to go find that and make a Joker edit of it.
I'll
Yeah, you
find it.
definitely
I
should.
think I should have it saved in my phone actually.
Yeah. We're gonna definitely make a Joker edit of it. Oh my god.
Um, and yeah, one so obviously Marin gets tons of praise. So I'm curious, what are your guys' thoughts on like Marin as a character and how she's like used in the series?
Um so I honestly think Marin is is a double-edged sword to the series. Like in on one hand, the series lives and dies whether you like Marin or not. I almost said
Yeah.
Karen.
You
Get
live
your
or die
sister
if
out
you
of your
like
brain.
Karen.
uh, yeah, so what's it called? Yeah, the entire story lives and dies if you like Marin. If you dislike Marin, you're not gonna like this show, just at all. But if you like Marin, you're gonna love this show.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It felt like Marin did a lot of the heavy lifting in the series. I really
Almost all
like
the heavy lifting.
practically, yeah. I really, I enjoyed her character. But I was never fully satisfied with the character. I just, I don't know. There was just something that just didn't click with me that I felt like was clicking with like more people. Especially in the call, like everyone was loving Marin, and I was like, yeah, she's all right. Um, but I
Yeah,
really
she's my
liked,
sister.
yeah, of course, of course. We all know how much you love your sister. Um, for me, I really loved the different outfits. In the series that Marin was put in. I think the actual transformation of like her character's design is actually really good. And I feel like you could show fucking different Marin outfits to different people who weren't like knowledgeable in the series and they'd legitimately think they're different characters, which I thought was fun. Um and yeah. Um I thought just in general that Marin's character was a bit of a mixed bag for me, but I definitely leaned more on the positive side, especially near the end.
I knew you liked
But,
to drink lean.
damn. Um, so Kyrie, what were your thoughts on Marin?
Marin is basically the best character of all time.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all I have to say. That's all
yeah,
that matters.
I wouldn't say
Marin, she's
that.
perfect. I wouldn't either, but I wanted to really upset some people.
yeah,
All right, so um yeah, so Marin, what's it called? Marin is pretty good of a character, I would say.
She's a free spirit. I like
Well,
that.
like, yeah, I know. I literally said that during the freaking watch together, and then like seconds later, he says she's such a free spirit. I was laughing so hard.
yeah,
Oh my god. But yeah, I pretty much described her as a carefree free spirit, who is super optimistic, even what's it called? Even when I mean, like a good example of it, in the sense, not too much of a good example, but it is still one, is when, well, no, not more optimistic, more of looks at the bright side of everything. So when the person was surprised that Gojo does all of her makeup, and he says, "Yeah, Marin can't even do that." She's like, "Wait, you have Gojo do all of that because you can't?" Marin took that as if she was praising him, but
yeah,
she was actually doing that to freaking put down Marin because she was
yeah.
incompetent at her own makeup.
Yeah, I definitely agree that like Marin is kind of like a glass half full type character rather than a glass half empty. Yeah, she looks on the optimistic side, and she definitely
It's super
yeah,
cheerful.
yeah, she's super cheerful. She's a really positive character. One aspect I really liked about that was anytime there was let's say quote unquote like conflict between the two leads, she tended to squash it pretty quickly. Um which I really liked because there's certain like especially in rom-com anime where it feels like forced melodrama. In
Hmm.
this series like it tempted fate at a few times being like, "Oh, we're gonna do this," but then immediately it's Marin and Gojo, they have a really good chemistry, and I feel like the author kind of made it very natural for them to like get over things very quickly.
I think the author made Gojo a little too,
It's made?
yeah, like a little
Pussy
too
whipped.
loves to be pegged kind of person.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually have in my notes. I believe I call him a little pussy in my notes. Um, I wasn't a big fan of Gojo personally.
Yeah, he
Oh, I
is.
But
remember a way I described Marin. Okay, so another way I described her is the why she's actually so like really good for a show and whatnot is that she's super aggressive, super assertive, and knows exactly what she wants and what to do. Although, like a typical woman, she doesn't know how to do it, and wants a man who maybe is not so aggressive, assertive, and whatnot, but knows how to do it, and or at the least can learn how to do it and make it a reality.
yeah,
I,
that's quite the take. But
Perfect woman.
yeah, she perfect woman.
yep.
She's made for breeding. Um, but yeah, kind of jumping topics a bit. Yeah, I thought Gojo was. I think he gets better as the series progresses.
Yep.
But like
The
I
good Christian boy gets corrupted as it goes.
yeah, but
Yeah.
early on, I really didn't like how bitch made he was. And
Yeah.
um, like the first like 4 episodes, I just remember like constantly getting annoyed by him.
Yeah.
Um, though the series definitely brings him up um as it goes along, and by the end, I liked him enough. Um, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? He didn't get best male lead 8 weeks in a row for nothing.
He kind of did.
Yeah. No, it's not for
Yeah.
nothing. It's literally to piss off Attack on Titan fans that were trying to get Aaron number one. Ugh.
Yeah, I think a lot of the discourse on Twitter around this show is more entertaining than the show itself.
It really
It
is. It
really is.
really is. The entire discourse around it is just Attack on Titan fans being pissed off because my dress up darling keeps completely like wrecking it. Like not even fucking close.
I thought it was funny how like everyone had strong opinions on this series. It seemed like whether it's like positive or negative, like everyone was like super vehemently like had their opinion and they would not change it
I'm
at all.
almost positive one day I saw two people linking Google Docs back and forth about why My Dress Up Darling was better than freaking Attack on Titan and why Attack on Titan was better than Dress Up Darling.
That's fucking hilarious. um I, I've been pretty out of touch with seasonal shit in the past little while and I'm not
Were
like
you out of
as
time?
shush. Oh, don't make me pull up the fucking Lucky Star video. But yeah, I'm pretty out of touch with like the seasonal shit usually. And I really like there was no avoiding Dress Up Darling. Like it was fucking everywhere. And I'm not even like that integrated into any Twitter. Like I'm
I am.
more just I know, definitely. I know you're fucking deep in the trenches, both you and Kyrie. But for me, usually my timeline isn't mostly anime, so I was surprised with how like constant of a presence Marin was.
Marin is love. Marin
Yeah,
is life.
yeah, I know, right? My timeline is like I don't know. I would say it's like 50% anime, 5% Bible quotes, and then the rest of it is just random.
Um,
Yeah, Marin
yes,
fan art especially has been prevalent.
yeah, a
Whether
lot
those
of it,
quotes are in a good or bad context, that's yet to be seen.
um, but a lot of like Kyrie's saying, there's a lot of Marin fan art, and a lot of accounts sprung up just to make like Marin fan art. I saw one
Mm-hmm.
account that was like drawing Marin in like different outfits from different series. So I don't know. It's surprising like how big I feel like social media played a role in this series' success.
Yeah,
I'm very
well,
curious, like when people are detached from like the experience of like you know it on Twitter and shit, how they're gonna view this series.
yeah.
I actually told my sister that I was going to be doing a podcast on this earlier, and she was like, "I haven't heard of that show." So I'd say it played a really big role.
Yeah,
My sister is a huge otaku too, although she's been
yeah.
pregnant, so I'm sure. So who knows? Maybe
I
that's why
mean,
she hasn't heard of it.
yeah, that's a good point, Gusty. um, what's it called? But that also has to do with our two takes on what we thought the show was. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I thought this show was just Black Panther for cosplayers, and as you said,
Yeah, I thought it was Black Panther for people with born addictions and foot fetishes.
yeah. I think the funniest thing is that this show is 100%, 100% the the thing that cosplayers and the cosplayer community want to put out to like the community and whatnot.
Right.
This is like the actual image they want to make you believe is it. It's
Yeah.
not that at all. It's not even close. In fact, the DMs were once leaked about what actually is behind the scenes. That all the biggest cosplayers are all inside one. And when I say all, it's like almost 50 something are all just inside a giant text group chat, and you pretty much have to conform to their ideas for them to retweet you. And if you don't and conform to their demands or whatnot, they will literally either post stuff misleading or lying or anything like that, and just completely try to get you away from the community as far as possible, and all of them won't interact or anything with you. It's
God,
yeah. So
God
like the
damn.
actual cosplay community is fucking crazy and toxic as shit. But
Yeah.
this show is 100% what they want people to see.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I haven't heard too much about what I will quote unquote call the cosplayer Illuminati. Um,
Yeah,
but
I know.
yeah.
It really sounds like it, like the cosplay, because it's literally the same with the English dub voice actors as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely
Don't
heard a
all
lot more.
Funimation dub voice actors come from like one school in Texas?
Pretty much, not all, but most.
Yeah.
Holy shit. You guys are way more knowledgeable on this stuff than me. But it's funny hearing about all this shit. Yeah, so would you say like Marin's kind of like an idealized personification of like what the cosplayer community kind of wants to present themselves as?
Yes, by far.
Yeah.
Like, what's it called? I remember when it was coming out. Like, remember there was like all of a sudden, like just a sudden boom of Marin and cosplayers all in like almost one day. It was like
Yeah.
they all posted it all at once. Well, they also coordinate each other, by the way, on what
Yeah.
cosplays they do. So they pretty much forced all of their stuff into trending by all doing it all at once. But yeah, remember, almost every single cosplayer just all praised the show and whatnot, and just loved it and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember how crazy that was, because I hadn't even like heard of the series because I wasn't like too in tune with seasonals currently. I used to be more in tune with it, but less so nowadays. I hadn't even heard of it, and then like the next day, it was fucking everywhere, and like it was taking up the entire timeline. And
Yes.
even still, like it takes up a huge portion of it.
I mean, literally today and yesterday, I just nothing but Marin on my timeline for like a good while, and like it's been months with just me seeing Marin just nonstop, um, and everyone just praising it until like except for Attack on Titan fans, and until episode 10. Holy shit! Like almost
Yeah,
all the cosplayers immediately denounced my dress
I
up
know.
darling all at once.
It's funny. That's when my turning point on the series began. I'm kidding. But no, for me, yeah, it was crazy to see like it seemed like this was like everybody's like baby, like everyone was like saying it could do no wrong, and then the second Marin puts on some fucking spray tan, it's like okay, no one's allowed to like this series anymore. It's problematic. It is terrible, and if you like it, you're a bad person.
Which is funny. A lot of people are thinking they're inconsistent and everything, and I'm just
Yeah,
like, that's not entirely true, because a year or two ago, this same controversy happened with Nessa. It was an Asian person, and they put
yeah,
on like this tanning thing to make their skin slightly darker. The exact same stuff that Marin did, and they did it
yeah.
for Nessa, and holy shit, the amount of backlash they got from
Oh
every
yeah,
cosplayer.
yeah. Just to
Although they
make sure
were
I'm
a
getting the
Japanese account and they didn't
yeah.
understand any of it and just kept going as they go.
Yeah, just to make sure I'm getting the right mental image. Are we talking about like Nessa from Pokemon?
Yes.
Like, oh damn, oh damn, holy shit, oh no, um, that's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, like the cosplay looked fucking amazing. Like she fucking killed it. Like
But
you could see there was nothing but passion and love and admiration in that cosplay. So the fact that people are saying that this is to insult black people was just absolutely insane. Like she went above and beyond.
yeah, one, but something I even find curious, like when we're speaking about the show, the main thing we're talking about is like, how it was like on social media and shit. I find it interesting that this show basically, like, for me personally, like, it feels very forgettable, but the experience around this
It is
show
so
is just like
memorable.
yeah, so memorable and so like um just fucking like overgrossing. Like it like you couldn't avoid it at all.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of. So, okay, there's something I thought about a long time ago, like a few months
Yeah.
ago, and I was almost never like 100% able to put it into words all the
Yeah.
much until this show came out.
Yeah.
Um, and so one of the things I've always been curious about is, you know how inside this show it showed a Twitter at and whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I think a lot more creators should do that. Um, but go even further. I want them to expand the lore to Twitter itself. And the
Oh,
reason for this is I
yeah.
want them to create the account before they put it out there and whatnot, and have a friend group and like them interacting with each other, and like on Twitter, and then like I want to see like all this thing, and then as the days go on, it's like a natural progression on how they talk to each other, how they interact and whatnot, and it's just there for everyone to see. So if you wanted
Yeah.
to follow like this person, how their personality is like, you could follow them and see what they tweet about and how this person, this character. And it's like, I know this can't be done for like forever, and it can't be like a really big thing, but you could definitely make a few key characters of
Yeah.
it, and then as the story goes along, they will probably reference Twitter every once in a while, and this is to where them responding to people in like online, and could also put it into the manga.
Yeah.
So thus making like actual people part of the actual story itself, even if it has like no real like influence on the plot or anything like
Yeah.
that. I've always been like curious to see any show that is something like that.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of things like ARGs and stuff. But obviously that would be to a much larger scale. Um, but yeah, I think that'd be interesting. I Anime is a very like experimental medium and shit, so I feel like we could like see something like that in probably in like the near future. To be honest, it would be a pretty interesting like promotional like campaign. And yeah, I think that's a very interesting idea. Now
Speaking of which,
looping kind of. Oh,
oh,
yeah,
sorry.
sorry. Oh, you go first.
I was saying, speaking of which, we did look up the one Twitter account
Yeah,
that it shows, cosplay Juju. They
yeah,
changed their name, their profile, and everything to be exactly just like what it is. Their profile picture and whatnot it is exactly what it is on in the anime.
yeah.
Although then we saw what the actual content they post, and we're just like horrified. I was I was
Oh
like,
my god.
yeah, that fucking fetish. It's like one of the worst fucking fetish shits I see that is so disturbing. I was like, no, I hate this one.
Damn.
It's
Um,
the oh my god.
They dress
it-
up as anime girls with
No,
the masks and the bodysuit.
oh,
no,
oh, I've seen those images before. They're fucking terrifying. They're
but
so uncanny.
yeah, but it's worse because what's it called? If you know anything about that fetish, the fetish is not just that they dress up like anime girls and whatnot. It's specifically like supposed to be guys dressing up as anime girls and doing all of it, and you're supposed to pretend that they're a girl while they are actually a guy.
Oh my god.
It
So, yeah,
is. It's pretty weird.
It's a pretty weird thing.
yeah, it's like for whatever reason, it's such a hyper specific fetish that it just weirds me out.
Yeah.
It's like
Um,
it's not it's not just that they have to dress up like anime girls. It's not just that it's a guy. It's that it specifically has to be a guy that dresses up as an anime girl and acts like an anime girl in the weirdest bodysuit kind of thing with the big giant heads that just make you go,
Yeah.
ugh, and get so fucking. It's so uncanny valley. It's like holy shit.
I've literally like seen people post those on Twitter and shit. And, like, it literally looks like something that could be in like a fucking horror game. Some of them, like, it's so uncanny. It rubs me the fucking wrong way.
Rub some people the right way, I guess.
Oh god damn it. Um, but yeah, kind of looping back around to like the actual series. Sorry, no, I'm not meaning like because like I said, the social media experience like around the series was a big part of it. So it's not like we were just going completely off the
Yeah,
rails.
I know.
But what I will say is like, with the series, do you guys have like any thoughts on like the soundtrack or openings or EDs or anything like that?
I think the it was simple but animated very fucking well.
Yeah.
I actually really like the ED. The OP made me laugh because Marin's in there, and she cosplays it shows her being tanned and whatnot in the opening. It was like I'm just like how were y'all like surprised by episode 10? What the fuck did y'all think what was going to happen?
Honest to God, I wouldn't be surprised if most the people complaining about it have not even watched the series.
I would, I 100% wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't like it's as if that one thing I told you about. I
Yeah,
honestly think a lot of people just use anime as clout and don't actually watch them.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Because like anime, is fucking extremely popular. Um, and a lot of people use it for clout chasing and shit. Like as you pointed out one time, when fucking Elon Musk talked about fucking anime, you
Hours
know,
later,
his hours later his stocks went up.
like drastically.
Drastically. So yeah, that's fucking funny. Um, but yeah, for me, um, the OP was like nothing memorable. I barely even remember the OP. I remember the like some of the visuals, but like the song fucking complete blanked out in my head.
Yeah.
The ED very cutely animated.
Hmm.
And I think the song's like catchy enough.
Yeah,
But
I kind of blocked it. I don't remember even a single bit of the opening song,
yeah,
but the
You know
ED's
what? I
still
can't
a bit.
either.
Yeah, but the ED's still in my head a bit.
yeah. Like the OP just felt like very generic. Like I feel like I've watched like three other shows that same like song as its OP. Like it
Yeah.
I know obviously I haven't, but it's a very generic kind of sounding thing.
Yeah.
Um the series soundtrack also left nothing to be desired. Um there was a few tracks like sometimes when Marin was revealed in a new outfit, there'd be like a musical cue that would be like like something noteworthy. Um but like generally like the music just blended so much into the background. Um and it just felt very like bland. Um and obviously not every series needs like a fucking exciting soundtrack or anything, but I feel like some
Every
rom-coms do
series
it
needs
really
a One
well.
Piece rap, though.
Yeah.
True.
Holy shit. um but like some rom-coms do like soundtracks well. Like I think like Toradora, for example, like there's so many iconic like songs just in that like soundtrack, not even like openings and EDs. Um and it felt like for something like Dress Up Darling, they just like did not try at all. It just felt like very cookie cutter sounding stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah. What were your opinions on the like soundtrack, Kyrie?
Yeah, I agree with y'all. Pretty generic, not yeah. I don't really remember any of it. Just
Yeah,
kind of was there.
Nah, the soundtrack wasn't really all that memorable for me.
yeah. Um, Honestly, what Kyrie said, being like, pretty generic. I barely remember is there. That's what I can say about 90% of the fucking series, like just in general. Like, I watched it like what, like the majority of it like 13 hours ago, and I barely remember shit about it. Like
Mhm.
it is painfully like generic for me at some points. Though I know some people may differ in that opinion.
No, I'm talking specifically the audio and whatnot. I mean the
Yeah,
songs and whatnot. I mean, I still remember a lot of the scenes, though.
yeah. To be fair, I was also up at like 5 in the morning. I remember when you said we're at episode 7, I was like, holy shit. I still have 4 more episodes and then 1 in the morning to do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So one of the things I felt was actually really great was seeing how every week there was a new meme when you're on
Yeah.
Twitter and whatnot, and then going into it and seeing the actual context to it was actually pretty strange, because I remember the first week that it came out, it was super beloved,
Yeah.
but it just kept getting more and more popular. There was a while it just kept trending every day.
Yeah.
It was there was one time it just trended so hard. It was just on your timeline forever, and then you start seeing like those memes. It's like, yeah, sure, this can be a bit for like every anime, but this one was mostly because it was so pervasive.
Yeah.
Like you saw the shit like everywhere. And
Yeah.
so
Like
to
my
finally see the context of a lot of those stuff, and one of them is the infamous meme, you don't go around dissing things people clearly like. So I was always wondering what the fucking context for that was, and then when it because it's like I don't know whatnot. No one really uses it in the correct context, by the way.
Yeah.
The context that they had it was the guy was trying to hit on her, but walked up to her and saw her little keychain with anime stuff, and was like, "That's pretty lame, don't you think?" And
Yeah.
then she's like, "The only one lame here is you," and just uh, walks away, rejects him real hard and everything, and never
Yeah.
speaks to him ever again. And then she's like, "You just don't go around." It's like he just walked up to me and said that. You just don't go
Yeah.
around dissing people, dissing things that people clearly like. And it's like, okay. So the context of her saying that is someone's clearly enjoying something, and then someone comes up to them and say that's lame. The context is not you just pretty much saying something is lame out in the open and then someone says that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Twitter took
Um
a hyper different meaning. But it is
yeah.
still fucking funny that it's always used in some like really fucking funny ones. Like I still remember the tweet, "Campbellism is bad," and then some quote tweets it say, "You don't go around just dissing things people clearly like."
Yeah. Yeah. Um it fucking reminds me of that one Kirby image where he's
Yeah,
pointing at the fucking whiteboard and it's the
hating
don't hate
popular things doesn't make you a more interesting person.
yeah, damn, you have that shit memorized. But yeah, um, speaking of like dress up darling memes, one that I couldn't believe was actually real was that the gym meme.
Yes,
With the yeah. You
yes.
want to talk about that?
Yeah, what's it called? That gym one. I saw that image of Marin like cheering. Well, it looked like cheering. Apparently, it wasn't. It was
Yeah,
her calling Gojo and whatnot. So it's her in the gym looking like she was cheering and whatnot.
I 100% thought that that was photoshopped. Like she got like put it in there, and it's like no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
So like the background of that scene is just so terrible. I fucking hate it. She doesn't even look like she belongs there. None of the like you
yeah,
could tell the difference between what was drawn and what was just a photo of it, and then an anime filter over it or
yeah,
something like that. It's like it just looked so wrong. I was like, no, and I hate every single time it did something like that. Uh, because to me, I just think that is like the worst art style to ever exist. There's a that even reminds me. There's a hentai just made purely like that, and
oh
it
my
is the
god,
most jarring hentai I've ever heard and seen of.
yeah. Yeah, like all the like I'll just call it like a real world animation, like mesh shit looked
Yeah,
bad, and
I have never seen it ever look good in anime.
yeah,
I don't think
I've
there's
never
any
seen it.
context that it looks good. I like I'd be surprised to find any of it that looks good, and if it does look good overall, it's in despite of it, not because of it.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't enhance anything. Um, More likely than not, it's just used as a fucking like cutting corners for the animators, which I don't blame them for, obviously. But still, you know, it as like someone watching the series, it can be quite jarring. Um, but yeah, um, there's so many memes to come out of Dress Up Darling though. Like it's we could just talk about the fucking memes all fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like every episode brought like six new memes along with it. Um,
The real dress up darling was the memes we made along the way.
the real Dress Up Darling was the fucking Twitter experience. Like we've been saying, like
It
I
really
feel
is.
like I feel like in a few years when like this show has like less steam around it, I'm curious how the fuck like people just watching it for the first time are gonna view it. Like I feel like it's gonna like they're not gonna get it, and it's like yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't get it either because this whole fucking series had like such a strong like online
Community.
presence. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like if it wasn't for the community, I think the show itself would only be like either a little below average or average.
I think yeah, this would have been like just a forgettable seasonal, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, the community's
Like
really what
forgettable
makes this.
seasonal with a great character. Like that's what it would have
Yeah,
been.
yeah. Like I could have definitely seen like a fair bit of like Marin fan art still. But, like the community for this series is just fucking crazy, and it's been a long time. I feel since we've had like a community that was like this present. You know, especially for like a new series. Like obviously like shit like AOT's fandom like
Yeah.
is pretty present, but you know they've been around for fucking ages. Shit like that. Like this series, like its fandom just kind of cropped up.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I still find it funny every day to see a new cosplayer have to make like this giant apology for liking Dress Up Darling and wants to distance themselves every day. And it's like that just makes me laugh so hard. But yeah, the Twitter experience, I don't think anyone would be able to like really understand most of it without being able to go to the fandom side of it.
yeah.
And
Um,
this is like I say this, but this is a lot of the reason why I liked watching anime way back when, because this used to be the norm,
yeah,
except it usually in smaller groups, and where a lot of groups would watch anime, talk about it as it comes out, and it's not like random people just post it on Twitter and then maybe a here and there. It's like you go to dedicated chat forums and everything like that, and so
yeah,
that was always like a crazy experience and whatnot.
yeah,
But nowadays the experience has changed a bit, kinda. You can still do the
Yeah.
old stuff, but it's still nice to see just how everyone's talking about it. And I think this is also why a lot of people are completely hating Netflix Stone Ocean, because you
Yeah.
don't get this kind of thing with it. You can't talk about it week by week. You can't go and hype it every week. You can't
Yeah.
build a community in that sense. Um, they
Yeah.
they
I
literally destroyed the JoJo's Part 6, which is kind of
yeah,
based.
it's so funny because I had a really big JoJo phase when Part 5 was airing. And fucking I remember I used to like actually watch a podcast that was just like weekly like just discussions on like the Part 5 episodes. Um so it's really kind of funny that JoJo fans were kind of robbed of that, but like that's what they get for being annoying.
No, no.
Oh yeah.
The author said 2021 and 2022. Fuck no. We ain't simping. No more simping. We're going straight to part 7.
Yeah. Um if we get a Part 7 adaptation like anytime soon, I'd be fucking happy. But yeah, getting back to like Dress Up Darling. Any like notable characters from the supporting cast that you guys remember? Okay,
I
like
barely remember the lowly.
yeah, the
Nah.
sisters were like both forgettable. But there's one goat that we've failed to mention thus far.
The grandpa.
The grandpa.
Yes, the grandpa.
Oh man, he was amazing. I still laughed so hard at the episode where he caught his son or grandchild, got the grandchild watching porn, and he thought he was watching it for the obvious reason,
Yeah,
but Gojo was not embarrassed because he didn't see himself as watching porn for sexual
yeah,
relief or anything, and he just casually was having a conversation with his grandpa, and while he was watching porn, and he was taking notes and everything. The grandpa thought he was taking notes to know for the future and stuff like that,
yeah,
like since in watching. But the grandchild was taking notes and whatnot because of the fucking outfit itself,
yeah,
and was just trying to do that. So it was like, while he didn't have any lewd intentions, the grandpa thought it was like the most lewd intentions ever, and just like thinking about it. And you see that all the time. This guy is like is like one of the fucking densest people ever, and it was like
yeah,
I kind of hate that trope,
yeah,
but in some instances it can be played pretty funny like that.
yeah. That was definitely a scene I remember fucking giggling at. Um, and yeah, I really enjoyed kind of the grandpa's dynamic in the series, and I did think he was probably the best member of the supporting cast. I barely remember any of the other supporting cast. Like I remember the sisters, and then I remember like obviously there's Marin's friends and shit. But
Yeah.
like they weren't super duper prevalent. And yeah, for me, I felt like the series basically, as we said earlier, is fucking carried by Marin, and then I can see some people liking Gojo. Personally, he wasn't my cup of tea, but I definitely can see some people like finding kinship in him, especially like his backstory was unrealistic, but there's some fucker out there that relates to that.
Liking dolls and then being told he's hated by some little
It's like,
girl.
why do you hate dolls? That's for women. I hate you. I never want to speak to you ever again. And I was like, yeah, that, as reasonable as that is. And by reasonable, I mean completely fucking unreasonable.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And yeah, um, just fucking Dress Up Darling. Just I feel like there's a lot to discuss, with the series, but also very little at the exact same time. Because it's there was so much buzz around it, but then the actual series itself is like pretty vanilla. Um, and yeah, I think it's been an interesting experience, but not exactly a great show, at least for me. Um,
Yeah. Um, One of the things I wanted to talk about, because okay, so all y'all did not watch Dress Up Darling at the beginning, right?
I watched the
I saw the
first two
first
episodes.
episodes.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So I'm the only one that went in completely fresh. But
Yes.
I want to ask y'all this.
Yeah.
What did you think Marin's personality was going to be like before watching it?
Um,
The
I
best waifu ever.
Kyrie, I'm gonna slap you.
I had no
Ky-
expectations.
Kyrie was a pretty big Marin stan early on. For
I
me,
just liked her from the first episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I started watching when episode 2 came out, so I still had like a week of like guessing what Marin's personality was gonna be. And for me, fucking, I thought she was gonna be like a really bitchy, like Gyaru type character. I didn't expect her to be friendly. Um, so that was a pleasant surprise.
All right. So this is what I pretty much thought before watching it. I thought she was going to be the super popular girl that pretty much does super popular things and all that, but hides her actual true stuff. So wouldn't really interact or be all that kind to people publicly, or just like distance themselves publicly,
Yeah,
like be ashamed and hide it. But that is further from the that could not be further from the truth. This girl has absolutely zero shame about everything.
yeah,
She, which you can see that as good or bad. I mean, as Plot said, is like maybe they should be judged. Have they ever thought about, like, because she hates being judged and hates judging people, and it's like Plot's like, maybe has she ever thought that maybe she should possibly be judged?
yeah.
Yeah, it was like it's pretty funny to see. But yeah, she couldn't be that could not be further from the truth because of all that.
Yeah.
She's really like she hate, but yeah, as I said, she hates being judged and hates judging other people. She's like, hey, you like what you like and you don't like what you don't like, and pretty much just all that. Uh,
Yeah.
she just loves to spend time with her hobbies and loves to see people have their own hobbies, which I actually really loved. Okay, so there's one thing I laughed so fucking hard at is there
Yeah.
was this group of women that were trashing Dress Up Darling, saying it was the
Yeah.
perfect show except for the main character. Like, no, wait, no, it wasn't a group. It was a group of women quote tweeted them. It was the group of men that did it.
Yeah.
What's I meant to say? The group of men were saying, "I don't understand how the main character bags such a hottie girl and all that shit."
Yeah.
And it's like, why does she like? It's like he's done nothing. And the group of women were completely like quote tweeting them to disagree. And then
Yeah.
my favorite one, of course, Karen.
Yeah.
Quote tweeted it. It's like, what girl wouldn't love a man who could do her makeup, cook for her, and make her outfits? Like, he's literally the best husband material ever. I fucking died. I
Yeah.
died. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Um. Yeah. Something I'm kind of curious about. Is what were your guys' thoughts on how the series ended, and like if there was a season 2, would you watch it?
Yeah, if there was a season 2, I'd definitely watch it. The ending was decently nice. I'm disappointed that those photoshopped scenes that I thought were going to be today, I'm disappointed those didn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been a much more interesting ending if they went that way with it. Um, how about you, Kyrie? What did you think of the ending, and do you think the series should get a season 2?
I do not think the series should get a season 2. It
Oh, was
it
the question, should it get a season 2?
Well, like should or in like if it does, would you watch it? Like
Oh, okay.
you can kind of be both.
I didn't hear. I'll let you go, Kyrie.
I definitely would not watch it if it got a season 2, and I don't think it should get a season 2. Like, nothing really happens, to be honest.
Kyrie
Like, it's
just
just
killed all slice of life fans.
that's true. Like, no, but, like, the biggest conflict I remember was, like, the grandpa fell because he saw that his grandson had stockings. It's like,
Mhm.
man, I could be watching paint dry.
Yeah. Yeah, the series definitely had a few moments where I was just like, look, few like fucking episodes where I just did not care at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
For
definitely
me,
probably would have been a
oh,
lot
so,
better to experience week by week.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, binging it was not it was not a fun experience. Um, I think slice of life in general is like kind of hard to binge. Um, but for me, my thoughts on the series, well, like, should it get a season 2? I don't really care if it does either way. If it does or if it doesn't. If it did, I would maybe watch a season 2. But I wasn't super duper invested in this. I actually really liked how the series ended. Funnily enough, I thought the scene where they're on call and she says, "I love you, Gojo,"
Mm-hmm.
was very fucking sweet, and my face was like red. I was like, "Oh, that's so fucking adorable." Um,
It's hyper
and
realistic.
I thought it was very cute, the ending. And for me, it has more punch than something like, oh, like if they would have kissed or something. Like, I think the series did something a little unique with its ending, a little modern, and I liked it. And if the series never continues from there, I'm happy with how it ended.
I mean, what's it called? Kyrie, what was that other Daga Kobo anime that we watched a bit ago? My Senpai's Annoying, yeah. They did
Yes.
something similar to that. Thanks, Kyrie.
You're welcome.
But but yeah. I would not mind if it gets a season 2. I don't like do like you asked me, does it need a season 2? I don't think it needs one, but I don't think it really needs most of its episodes.
Yeah.
I mean there's just a lot of shows. I'm like, when it comes down to it, it's like I don't think most shows need all of its episodes, or at the very least parts of the episode and whatnot. But it's better to have them, because it
Yeah.
usually goes and fleshes out the characters a lot more and shows more of their personality. So it's like, depends on what you mean by what does it need. Does it progress the plot? Thus it
Well, like, do
and
you
whatnot.
kind of want one? Is what I was more kind of going for.
Oh yeah. I'm saying, like, I mean, I think I would definitely want it. It would be and if it ever comes out again on season 2 and I'm caught up with season 1, maybe I can just call up my sister and talk to her about it week by week this time.
Yeah. I feel like you'd have that good fucking sibling bonding sessions
Mm.
with your quote unquote sister. And yeah. Um yeah, I don't know. I just like overall kind of with the series, I thought it was, it was all right. It wasn't amazing, wasn't terrible. It just kind of left me feeling most of the time feeling nothing, but there's a lot of cute moments that kind of stuck out in my mind.
It definitely was very feels good.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's about time for
I don't think we're even close to that yet.
what? We've been here for like an hour.
Yeah, and yet we still haven't
done a synopsis. We haven't gone by favorite scenes. We haven't done any of that.
I'm gonna like freaking die if we keep on doing this.
Drink more Monster.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Drink more
Yeah,
Monster,
I'm in a
bitch.
I'm in a fucking closet. I'm burning to death. Oh, but I'll keep going until you guys stop. If I die of heat stroke, blame fuck, I don't
No, it's
even know your
fine.
at. I don't even fucking remember your at because you fucking have been suspended so many times.
It's been once.
Literally
well,
just
once, but well, fuck, man, it's been I've been following you across like 3 different accounts, um, under different online personas. So
once.
yeah,
Yeah, I guess he's a stalker too. Oh, let's talk about our favorite scenes.
I'll let
my
Gusty go first.
my absolute favorite scene was when they're on I forget if it's a bus or a train back from the like cosplay convention thing. Gojo's like fallen asleep, and he calls Marin beautiful, and she gets all flustered. The reason I really liked this scene was, as payoff from earlier because they had a scene much earlier on talking about like how he doesn't throw around the words like pretty and beautiful, often.
I do.
Yeah, I know you do. But I don't know, I just thought it was a cute moment, and it was like saying I love you without saying it, and I'm a sucker for all that sappy shit, so I was like, yeah, that's fucking cute as hell. Um and yeah, that's probably my favorite scene.
Yeah, she definitely noticed that she fell for him pretty early on. I think it was like what, episode 4?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
But yeah. Yeah, it was
Unknown, what's say?
like it was pretty good on that sense, and it was a lot just how she was dealing with it. I mean, episode 11, if it wasn't for that call, I think I kind of wonder what would have happened, because we know the kiss was going to happen. We don't know
Yeah.
if it was going to go any further.
Yeah.
But they both definitely well, at least one of them finished it later.
Damn. um so yeah, Unknown, what was your favorite scene?
That is a really hard one, because there were a lot of like really nice scenes and whatnot. I don't know if I have like a favorite scene and whatnot. I mean, some scenes that I liked was oh my gosh. I mean, I think, okay, for one of the scenes, it's not a scene, it's
Yeah.
so much of an episode.
Yeah.
Where they are all inside the school and whatnot, and they finished making their cosplay. So it showed one
Yeah.
cosplay and then showed her other cosplay, and all of a sudden this guy walks up and they're like, what? And
Yeah.
then it cuts and blurs out and pretty much does a flashback, and then it shows an entire different storyline that happened, that was happening at the same exact time as all of that was going down. And what it was is the little sister was like wanting to cosplay so desperately and everything like that, and they pretty much did everything they could to make their dream come true. Make your dreams come true. And what's it called? They went in about it and just was like 100%, let's do this. She's like, I don't have the right body type for it. And they were like, fuck it, let's find a way around it and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just them doing everything they can to help the cosplayer to look, help her to look more like the cosplay that she wanted to and whatnot, and made her look as less feminine and more masculine and scary and everything, more dependable, just to cosplay the guy she wanted to play. And it's like, I think that was a pretty like good episode, and whatnot. It's like it's an episode of someone who like hated their body, hated their proportions and whatnot because they couldn't do what they wanted, and then they were like, no, don't do that, and we'll find you even with this on how to do it, and then boom, help them
Yeah.
achieve their dream of cosplaying that character and looking just like them.
Yeah, and
Eventually,
I
I
think
mean, the cosplay malfunctioned, but but
yeah,
it was a pretty warming and pretty touching fucking like giant scene sequence, whatever you want to say.
yeah, and I think that must be like a pretty touching scene for like a lot of cosplayers who like struggle with that same issue. Because I'd imagine that would be a good portion of the community because different body types and shit like that. But yeah, Kyrie, what was your favorite scene if you had one?
My favorite scenes were the stalking, where yeah, I liked where everyone just stalked Gojo. They just followed him home, and they're like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Like I don't know why, but that just got the hugest kick out of me. I found it so entertaining.
Yeah, I was
yeah,
like, oh, as like as I said, it was like, oh damn, she just like he barely explained anything, and she went, found his home, looked it up, got there, and just like knocked on the door, barged in the house, and barged in his room,
And then
and
take off her
everything.
clothes.
I
Wife material.
I said wife material before the taking off the clothes. I'm talking about just like, oh my god, almost like full on stalker mode, and it was like that.
yeah,
That's wife material right there. Just 100% just knows and just makes claim to your entire house.
yeah. Um, so yeah, I like how we all had different favorite scenes. Kind of shows that the show doesn't have like one kind of defining moment. Because there's certain series where like if you ask someone their favorite scene, it'll be like one of like a few like really notable ones. Like something that comes to mind, something like ReZero. You ask someone their favorite scene, and it's like, oh, it's the REM speech, like that sort of thing. So I'm glad this series kind of avoids that conundrum. It seems.
I think this show tries to I think it tries to do like a lot. It spreads out a giant fish net and tries to reel in as many ideas and complications and issues and whatnot. Because y'all talk about how there's no like drama or anything like that or anything to work towards. I mean, I somewhat disagree. Every episode has like a problem they need to solve, and but it's almost always like cosplay related. Like, what was the drama on that one? Oh, he had to get the thing done before her con thing, but didn't do it.
Yeah,
The next time that she's testing out the dress that he made. What's the problem then? Oh, that is it's not breathable and making her overheat and almost pass out. It's like, oh damn. So now he has to think on how to make it look exactly like the outfit itself, but make it to where it's wearable and not going to fucking kill someone and
yeah,
whatnot. And then like he's slightly improving every time as it goes and seeing more and more issues as it happens. And it's literally him just trying to master and perfect this craft.
yeah.
Like every
Um,
episode, it does something like that. And so it's always like there's some kind of issue that they don't know how to do, and they figure some way creative around it.
yeah. Um, I there's definitely that in the series. For me, it was less so that there was like no stakes or anything, but I had trouble like engaging with what the series was offering. It was more what I was kind of saying because like I don't know, I never really got like invested, you know. just on the characters, not really with what was going on and shit. But I think that's more of just me being like very, very disconnected from like the cosplay scene and like I don't know, not quite relating to either of the lead characters.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? There's just a few things that I know. Like, it would be interesting for me to watch and love to see like this ideal, like of the cosplay community. But at the same time, when you know about like the actual community of it, it
Yeah.
makes it all the more funny. So like this would be like the cosplay community or the English dub community or the Twitter artist community, or there was one more.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the last one is. There's another fucking community just like this.
A lot of communities are toxic. That's what you're basically saying, especially around hobbies.
No.
Um,
I don't mean like a lot of communities are toxic. I mean a lot of community do the exact same thing as what I explained with the cosplay
yeah.
one. Like
The
down to
cosplay
a fucking
Illuminati.
T. They
Yeah.
do the exact same thing, and it's like a lot of these people are just like borderline sociopaths.
Yeah. Um,
There's one more, but I can't fucking remember it. It's weird, whatever. But yeah, it definitely is that way for those.
yeah. Any questions or like topics you guys want to talk about? I think I've kind of made my rounds to most of the things I had noted.
I think it was interesting on the episode 11 where he got so immersed in everything inside the taking of the photos that he forgot he was in a love hotel and wanted to change the camera angles, and one of them just made me laugh so hard. It just really personifies just how dense he is. He will
Yeah.
literally tell her to sit on his dick without thinking of anything lewd, just so he can get a better shot of the what's it called with the camera, and just keeps on
Yeah.
doing stuff like that. And then it's only like once they hear people on the other side do they remember where they are, and that's when all the lewdness just all kicks in all at once.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah,
just thought that was funny. It's like
yeah,
I do think a dense character can work, and it's usually during like someone's so dense because they're super passionate, and that is 100% understandable and whatnot. I hate the denseness of like
your average, like
yeah,
kind of
the average way
romance
they do it.
MC. Yeah,
It's like I think that is just terrible.
yeah, like the oblivious to the point of like this person has like brain damage.
Yeah.
Like they
I mean,
miss in
there's
every
also
social cue.
Gojo's literally I can't, and he's like breaking down, crying, and talking about taking
Yeah.
her measurements. It's like I can't do it, and it's like she literally doesn't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even further on, there was like other stuff that he was doing. And, like I think the biggest one was he didn't realize that she doesn't care what other people think about them being friends or not.
Yeah.
And then he pretty much does this like giant thing of avoiding her and whatnot, not wanting to talk to her and everything. And that's one of those things you were talking about the melodrama that was like squashed instantly. She just confronts him and says, "Fuck no!" Like that's gay. Thinking that way is gay. We'll just be friends. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I really liked how quickly they squashed melodrama and shit, because it's in very big contrast to how these types of things usually go.
Yeah. Marin was just just an amazing protagonist, just completely carrying the entire series. Like I will carry all of your story, just like puts the giant weights on her shoulders and just goes.
Yeah, definitely. Like the series is fucking carried like heavily by Marin. Um, now, so would you guys like to head into doing synopsises, or is there any other topics you want to talk about? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was around episode 11 when she finds out that she actually truly loves him and everything like that, and it's just inside her head she starts thinking a whole bunch of things, and Gojo is just like not even like picking up and whatnot. So it was just pretty fucking funny, especially
Yeah.
episode 11, the very ending of that. You can tell what he was doing. His left hand was just beating his forehead in the jerking motion going up and down, but his right arm was moving and off the screen, and he just kept saying her name over and over and over. And he's like, "Oh, you know what is happening."
Yeah. 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 Pretty bold decision to put that in the series too. So
Yeah,
um,
it was like, damn, it's subtle yet explicit.
yeah. Yeah, I'm really curious how the Blu-rays will handle scenes like that, if they'll because I know the Blu-rays with some lewd scenes have been adding extra bits here and there. So
Mm-hmm. Like one of them was the what's it called? The screen. It's all pure
yeah,
white when you see it and whatnot, but it is not pure white in the Blu-ray.
yeah,
It actually shows what is being shown, and pretty much, let's just say, the only thing she's wearing is rope.
yeah. And
Uh,
yeah, um, yeah, it's very I think the way they handled sexual shit was pretty interesting because it's explicit, but not
but
too
fits.
explicit. Yeah,
I,
like it fits.
yeah.
Never took away from the experience.
No, they just naturally ingrained it in.
Yeah, is very well integrated. So yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. All
Um,
right. I guess that's pretty much all. I guess we can go to it, Kyrie.
Now it's time for our most famous, or some would say most infamous segment. Unknown, do the thing.
Part of the podcast. You
Oh yeah,
get two choices. One for looks and one for personality. Go.
Marin.
um, Marin.
My sister.
Marin.
I don't. Okay, so the thing is, I don't really see how it could be anyone else
Yeah,
all that much.
yeah, Marin.
Like, I
Yeah.
could see that a lot of people liked one of Marin's friends, the black hair one, and whatnot,
Yeah,
in the sense of looks, but some were saying she was better in personality. And I'm like, what personality? She hasn't
yeah,
been shown to have any personality. In fact, I feel like a lot of people that were saying her on the timeline week by week, and it's like, y'all are just actual contrarians.
yeah,
You'll have to unironically be contrarians to believe that, because they get no screen. We have absolutely no idea what their personality is.
What do you mean? Fucking vibrating cardboard shall win the waifu wars. Um,
Yeah, like what's it called? Like they were literally they only talked for two scenes out of 12 episodes. I can understand liking a character if they left like a massive impression, but it was actually just normal chat. There wasn't
yeah,
something like super out there. It's not like they fell from the sky and fucking did a Kamnia speech and just went and fought a war by themselves and fucking did it all in that one thing to almost kill their entire fucking army, but then die to the final boss, letting the heroes come in and take it. No, it was nothing like that.
yeah, yeah. Definitely nothing like
Like,
that.
if it's something like that, I can fucking understand, like, loving a character that has like some small thing, but no, like they literally only have like nor like I think it was like one was just like a question, and the other was just them pretty much saying yeah, just pretty much agreeing.
Yeah. Well, fucking clearly the power of fucking slightly goth aligned women beats Marin in this waifu war. But yeah, yeah, Marin was like really the only developed character that was like super interesting in like any way. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And
Except for
yeah,
the grandpa, he was the goat actually.
yeah, I
Changed
still
my answer.
yeah. I still love the synopsis that someone posted on Twitter, and I told y'all about it.
Yeah.
Good Christian boy with traditional values gets corrupted by some e-girl thought.
Yeah.
I love that joke.
Yeah.
And now can't stop thinking about her and doing everything for her.
Yeah. Um
I for whatever reason, like today came out like a whole bunch of fake screenshots and whatnot. I was very curious about it, and I was like, "What the fuck? I want to see this." And then it just didn't do it, and like
yeah.
they weren't there. And I'm like, it was like I don't know why someone did that, but I applaud everyone who did it because it's like the
Yeah.
funniest fake spoilers I've seen. One of them was on a V thread. It's like, what the fuck did they mean by it's nice that you say you would die for me. Hopefully I'll keep you working enough to for us to be together. And then and, and then it was like it's like, what does this mean? And it's like that men should slave for women, and they're like, what the fuck is with this show? And it's like I just seeing these reactions, or the other reaction of what's it called? And it's like, I masturbated to you and whatnot. And it's like, oh, I guess I don't feel as bad now that I named my right hand after you. And shit like that. This is like, it just goes even like all these freaking fake screenshots on Twitter. I'm just like, who the fuck is starting this?
I think that just shows how like powerful the meme culture kind of around Dress Up Darling was, and like the community shit, because like yeah, there's some pretty widespread fakes going around today.
Yeah. I
And
love them. I think they're all great.
oh yeah, they're hilarious. I haven't seen most of them sadly, but I did see the I did see the jack off one, and that one was fucking funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there any last things y'all want to say?
Follow me. I'm kidding. Um, I I'm really happy that y'all brought me on for this episode. And despite Dress Up Darling being
Despite?
a series, but um, okay, despite like Dress Up
Despite?
Darling. Oh damn, you're fucking with me here. Despite Dress Up Darling being a fucking series that I didn't really have strong feelings on either way, I did really enjoy my time on the podcast, and I do appreciate you guys bringing me here. So thank you.
Glad to have you. This has been Weebanomics. Thank you for joining us, and see you whenever we see you. Peace out.
This has been the No Taku. I love the word despite, and I love lots of comments. Leave lots of comments and like the video.
And yeah, also follow me on twitter.com, the best woman on Twitter, as some say.
Nice.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
But yeah, the only reason I like the show is because I actually want to fuck my sister.